This week on Sunoco Speed, we're going to be going down to the Vaal for the 23rd year of running of the ice block. After that, we'll dry things off and head inland to V-Town. V-Town will be round number 3 of Moto SAs. It's certainly going to be drier than the ice block, but the first bit of action we pick up on will be day number 1 down at the Vaal for the ice block before we go and dry things out at the VKC track in V-Town. So 23rd year of running of the ice block and a very, very fresh 2016. My name is Matt Smith. I'm going to be voicing out with Barry Marks, the man who knows a thing or two about an event like this. Barry, you've got to be happy with the entry coming in for 2016. A very popular event, as always.
Yeah, man, it's a good event that we've put up, and I'm proud of to put it all together.
Yeah, it's absolute banger. This time around, starting to see a few more international flavors coming into play. Obviously picking up a round of the National Championship as well. Some information, of course, this event hosted by the Gauteng-based ZIBC Club under the banner of PSA, Powerboat South Africa. The Ice Block, just a standout event on the calendar and something that everyone dreads as well as looks forward to in equal measure. All the latest and greatest bits of kit, and of course we'll be covering some of the shots with Hanley Air. Andre going to be helping us out getting some of the aerial material to bring you the best action over the weekend. Day number 1, of course, was all about the long run, and the guys covering a massive 127 kilometers of racing, and that's for the inflatables, the hard bottoms, and the rest of the categories. Day number 2, the sprint laps, and a little bit more hot and heavy physical racing action. Day number 1, though, everyone was just getting themselves in the zone, getting ready, and for the coastal guys, dialing in their kit.
Ja, dat is Marius hierso, van Pretoria, van Midstream Estate. Dit is ons tweede ijsblok. Ons het 2014 gery. Ons het net halfpad gekom, hierdie keer gaan ons voluit gaan.
Hello, I'm Derek van Sail. We're here for the ice block, pretty cold, and we're running mods, and we're going to try our best to make a number this time.
Hi, my name is Adele van Sail. I'm Derek's co-pilot. We're looking forward to a wonderful day.
Ek is Rocco Erasmus, ek is van Kaapstad af. Ek en Stefan ons ry die modified klas. En ja, dit is nou seker my 12 ene wat ek ry, dis Stefan se eerste ene.
Ons kyk maar, as koud hier, so, maar is lekker.
We from Cape Town, we're the team Fastener Warehouse. I think we're the oldest pilot and co-pilot today on the rubber.
Hi, Dustin Gaskell here from Australia. We've come over here to join Barry Marks with his fantastic ice block event, so we're really looking forward to it.
Hi, how are you? I'm Dustin's brother. We're running 2 separate boats, which should be a fair bit of fun. And yeah, we thank Barry for entertaining us and having us.
Everyone checking out the best kit, and Sunoco there with their speed shop. All the riders getting in the zone. Shante Bierkus, obviously out of Yamaha and reigning world champion, picking up a big injury but still supporting the ice block event, and all of the local communities and everyone supporting this incredible event, getting themselves dialed in for 2 incredibly cold but incredible days of action on the Vaal. It all starts with race entry, bit of riders briefing for the marshals briefing, and everyone taking notes to figure out which way the river runs and where they want to be lining up to get themselves on point and good to go. Riders briefing set, and it's all about getting wet. Day number 1 about to kick off. Not too bad. The wind did stay down in the early morning. The sun was coming up, but believe you me, it was fresh. Barry Marks, multi-talented man, event organizer, trimmed the beard off and got himself into the zone to get ready to go racing. Bit of a late lineup for him as well though, so I'll be giving Barry a little bit of hell about that later on when we pick up on the racing action. It was a lastminute.com effort to get himself and the boat into the water while everyone else was just chilled and ready for the racing action to kick off. Remember, day number 1 was going to be a very long day in the saddle. As with every event, paramedics there, hopefully not needed. They haven't been needed for the last couple of years. And 2016, they'll be looking for a nice clean run. The order of the day would start out, the Inflatables would set things off first, stretch their legs out, get up to top speed, then we'd go back to the start line, pick up on the hard bottoms, and the last out the gate would be the jet skis. Coastal guys still trying to figure out a lot of setup on their machinery, and what wasn't answered the day before would certainly be answered on day one of the racing. Henley Air heading up with our cameraman, and Billy going to be hanging out there, praying that he's got his shoulder straps nice and tight as we pick up on the action. That helicopter able to run up to around about 130, 140 k's an hour. The boats though, a little bit quicker than that, so it's going to be a fun day up in the sky. Inflatables getting themselves lined up then. Like we said, they would be the first ones on point. Barry, question about how many entries we had lined up as opposed to previous years, and who the specialities would be and who the privateers would be to watch out for.
Man, yes, there was about 67 entries this year. The best we ever had was 102. The guys to look out for, obviously, in the inflatables would be somebody like Johan Ludewijks. We thought that Dave Barnett would also be up there, but he had a bit of a problem to set up and whatnot. Myself had a bit of a problem too, as you already know, but we tried our best. The other guys to watch for is Rocco Erasmus, obviously, and then a surprise, not really maybe to him, is Christo from PE. Him and Bianca, they did well. As you see, there's Des, he's our current world champion, and also national champion. Oh, sorry, he's not a world champion. I'll correct myself.
Yeah, he's busy. He gets around anyway. All right, so the first boats out on day number one were the Inflatables. And big gaps opening up early on. Barry, I know your situation. Unfortunately, Barry having a little bit of a last-minute.com, his kit only arriving late, getting his boat in the water with only 3 minutes to spare. So the first couple of kilometers, probably the first 50 kilometers, the heart rate was up there for Oral Baz here. And he'd have to do some big chasing down, and he'd be in the rough water. Hey, Barry, that kind of been fun.
Yeah, when you come up from the back, it's a little bit wet, but if you negotiate yourself, you can stay as dry as you can. But no, it was a bit hard.
The Inflatables heading out. We go on board with Des Potgieter and Ron Van Tonder, just showing you how gnarly the situation is in the early running. And of course, remember, there's a big turnaround for the guys to handle. So important, as with every facet of motorsport that I'm involved in. Whole shot, I hope you guys use that word, because you've got to get clear air.
We have to. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap because the classes start with a bit of a gap. Obviously, the fastest in front and the slowest in the back, and the guys negotiate. And some of the slower boats, or supposedly slower boats, take over the bigger boats. As you can see there on the far right is Dave Barnett, which comes up good in the inside. I don't know where he picked up his problem. Here's our bit of a surprise. Rocco in the inside, Chris on the outside. Pick up a lot of speed, and I don't know where he got it from, but pretty well done.
Talk to me about the engine sizes. Obviously, there's different categories running the whole way through the field, and that's why we see such big gaps opening up early on. What's the ponies on these guys?
Well, if you see the two you're looking at now is 50 horsepower, modified full-on mods. And then you get the blueprint class. As you see there comes up Johan Ludewijks, which was quite quick and the overall winner in the end. Worked hard to get there, and I think he deserves it. There's old Dave Barnett, hacking a little bit at the back, but also had a good run though. The guys were pretty fast in the day, so everybody else, most of the fast ones you see here, and the inside's Mitch from Australia. He's also got a 50 mod on. Des and Ruan are the guys that's the fastest, and supposedly the fastest in the blueprints. Got the print class, they go up to a certain spec, and then obviously the standard class, which you actually not allowed to do anything, but the rules have been changed, so we're battling a bit with that one at the moment.
Watch this space. Social media is going to be popping and hopping. Out front though, and check it out. There's the big Century electrical machine, and starting to charge up from the back. Barry Marks is on point now, starting to tickle his way into the top 10 and do the chase down. But of course, there was a lot of energy and effort spent trying to get into that zone. Under the bridges then, not too far away from the turning point by this stage. Remember, we're going to be going back and picking up on the start of the hard boats, the hard bottom should I say, and that's going to be a very strong field. They'll be able to run some crazy fast pace and just fantastic shots coming in from the Henley Air chopper. Thanks to Andre for that. We go back and pick up on the start line. Again, I'll hand over to Barry here to talk to me about how powerful these boats are, the number of entries, and obviously who we're watching out for.
There were about 27 entries in the hard bottom class. Right at the front there, you'll see the green boats, Atti Tromp, all champion. I think he must be the fastest guy in the world almost in these boats. These conditions, obviously. The guys run here anything from a 250 some 300s, and then up to a 90 class horsepower class.
This gives us a really good shot. Well done for really our cameraman, showing us these things pinned wide open, flat out to the maximum. A little bit of chop still, and they'll be coming up on some of the slower inflatables a little bit later on, just before the actual turnaround point. But of course, if you can get to the double, triple bridges early on, that's going to set you up for a really strong event. Open water, that's going to help out absolutely everyone. Like I say, the chopper running around about 130 at this point, and we'll see the boats as soon as they get clear, flat water, start to stretch away. Something like 160 kilometers an hour capable of the top speeds. Beautiful shots of Gauteng in the winter. So the boats will be heading out there. That's our second category. We go back and pick up on the jet skis. Smaller numbers this time around, but these things have got a little bit expensive these last few years, eh, Barry? Whoa.
Yeah, they're quite very pricey. I think it's one of the most expensive sports out there to race, but a very enjoyable one though. To myself, I think it's a little bit lonely sport. You run up and we at least 2 up, and then some of the hard bottoms got 2 up also. There you see Jared Moore, current multiple world champion.
Yeah, man. So I'll tell you what, South Africa has got such a good history. I actually went to school with Charles Grassie back in the day. I never forget Steve Van Straten, the Cape Townian with an American accent. Steve Van Straten. He was always talking about Charles Grassie, and Charles was multiple SA champion. For some reason, with motocross and jet ski racing, we've got a really good fielding. I think it's South Africa and the climate that we have. Back on board now with Herman van der Merwe, just to show you how physical it is. And these guys do get beat up. Duck along with us as we go under the bridges. Turnaround points. And this is where we can start picking up on the front end of the hard bottoms as they really start stretching their legs back down, while we pick up on the guys a little bit further down the field in the jet skis, still on the first straight.
As you see, the first guys coming through there on this inflatables was led by Johan, and then followed by Krista and ourselves. It was a pretty good run.
Yeah, I tell you what, we'll talk a little bit about it as we go back on board with Chad Romans and Candice Hayting, and they have been charging on, keeping an eye on the prize there, knowing exactly where to look for the GoPro onboard footage. Onboard footage has changed how we film these events over the last 5 years, and it really gives us that rider eye, driver eye point of view. Pretty good water though on day number 1. Didn't look like it was chopping up too badly, but you can see the side spray showing us that the wind was definitely there. The winner coming across in the hard bottom, no big surprise there.
Yeah. Look, the wind will pick up pretty well, and if you're not in front of your inflatable, it can pick you up and flip you over. So it's pretty nice. The hard bottom's got a little bit of a different ride though. If you can see, the noses on the inflatables pick up quite a lot. Quite interesting for you to see as the chopper is around or next to the boat. Very important for the chopper not to move in front of the boat, otherwise the nose picks up and goodbye.
Yeah, that's the thing. We know it's especially with the coastal events for the inflatables, those things get a little bit too much air underneath, and yeah, we get some spectacular footage on social media and everyone has a good giggle, but at the end of the day it does get a little bit dangerous.
Let's see the guys pulling in here, actually a refuel point, a must do. Some guys, they take a chance and they go past, and hopefully they don't run out of fuel. So
yeah, you're a fool if you run out of fuel, as they say. And I think events like this, compulsory DSPs and fuel points and fuel stops like that are coming. Good to see a charge from back here. Barry Marks, you must have been up into the top 10 easy by that stage.
Man, I was running up there and then I fell down back again, and I had to work myself up. But yeah, it was not to be.
Tough running. Only the brave, eh? Is there, the ice block, and I just saw a pair of bare legs there. Not for me, but that guy looked like he was out there in his plickies and his short pant. And obviously they make him a bit tough. Probably a local guy, and he reckons this is nice, absolute perfect weather for going for a paddle. There's a great shot. Look at that. Side-by-side action on the water as we get the shots once again from Henley Air. And these two running absolutely crazy numbers here. So physical. Look at that big overshoot there. And a nice cutback as well. Wasn't too bad. But remember, this is pretty much straight line drag racing format of power boats and water racing. So it is all about the ponies and just trying to economize your body shape. You'll see a lot of the guys sitting down low. They won't be standing too high unless they are in the chop, where they have to take the beat on the arms and the legs. The rest of the time, they are tucked in as low as they possibly can, superbike style, trying to stay out of the wind. Pick it up now on, I see that here, we're coming in. The speed differential between the inflatables and the hard bottoms just starts to show, especially on the return voyage. Looked like you guys had a bit of a tailwind that time, Baz.
Yeah, we had, from the one side up, you had to keep your nose down, and the other side you had to try and keep it up. So when you run downwind, obviously the guys move to the back, and the hard putters will try and trim out. The jet skis, I'm not too sure how they work, but I think that also the newest ones have got some trims. There you see the 90 class and a 250 class, how the big difference in the speed is. The guys give it their all, and oh yeah, somebody overshooting the turn there.
Overshooting, man, I think he arrived at the coast, that guy. All right, here's the standout favourites, and let's just enjoy this boat. Man, that is a spectacular machine.
We call them boomslang. As you said earlier, every sport I think there's somebody with a boomslang in it, but that was our boomslang. Here's Nico Vessel's finishing now. I don't know who that is, I'm not too sure, I can't see the number.
It should be our world champion, Jared Moore, and he is just, look at that, a Sunday cruise for him, Saturday cruise in this case. Now the rest of the guys coming and doing the chase. That looked like it was Herman getting the second place finish there. So the top two finishers coming home, and they can just review how day number 1 went, load up, do some repairs, and get themselves ready for day number 2. A hard, long push on the long run. 127 Ks of racing action wraps up day number 1, and everyone scratches their heads to figure out what to do on day number 2. The results in the standards, you can see a real good lineup. Didn't look like we lost too many drivers or crews the whole way through the day. Some problems, but most people did make it through to the finish and get themselves into a position to line up for day number 2, when we might see some different people come to the front. Of course, sprint races do deliver different results. In the jet skis, the big man himself, Moore, all the way to the top of the pile in the Pro Stocks, Musa. And in the jet skis for the ladies, White taking the big win.